I have actually played for most of the categories, the national categories, which happens to be the Youth 17. Back in 2014, I had a call up to join the Youth 17, which is the Black Maidens. In 2017 to 2018, I had a call up to the Black Princesses. All this period, I was not really in Ghana. I was back in the States, and so most of the call ups, I was not able to show up. But in 2018, I had the call up to join the Black Queens for a waffle tournament that was going to happen in Burkina or somewhere in Africa, but then I was not able to show up. But then later when I came, it was pretty much easy because everybody was looking up to who is Gifty, Ayew, Asare, and so when I joined, it was fun, and I had a lot of experiences with other players that I've not really played with here in Ghana. And I had a knee injury during that period, so I was not able to make it to the final cut for the tournament, so I had to return back to the state and continue on my education. Being a player, knowing where you are coming from, how you started and where you are heading to, and having a national call-up back then used to be one of the greatest achievements as every female player here in Ghana wish to have, because it's not easy to come up from rural areas and be on the top list as coaches, for coaches to see you and recommend you or call you for the national assignment. Having a call up to the Ghana women's senior national team was one of the greatest impacts as a professional player playing in US. Also, here in Ghana, we always look at the football. The highest level to be is mostly when you are being called to the national team, because it gives you a lot of exposure and a lot of recognition. So being called to the national team, the senior national team here in Ghana, really had a great impact on my life as it stands, because even though I was playing here, I moved to the States. A lot of people didn't know me. They heard the name, but then who is Gifty Ayew Asare, until I had the call up, and it really had a lot of impact by exposing me to the community, and then for people to know who I really was back then. Back then, somewhere 2014, 2015, there was an organization here called Asare, which happens to be an organization that helps young female players to play outside the country or on scholarship. So in 2014, when I was with Blessed Ladies, I had the chance to go for a tryout, and I was not really done with high school because of soccer. I actually got off school back then in 2011, and I was not able to go to school from 2011 to 2014, so I joined Blessed Ladies. Blessed Ladies used to have a remedial school, so I decided to take that chance and get my high school certificate. So after, in 2015, the Asare group or organization came again, and I had to join and do another tryout, and until then I got a scholarship from different categories, like different schools, until I was able to choose one, which happens to be Northern Oklahoma Ladies in Oklahoma. So I had that chance. I had a full scholarship, and it was being helped by myself because it was really my dream to go outside and play. So when I had the opportunity, I actually worked hard, and then be able to finance my process, and then I was able to go. I had this former player for Black Stars, Christian Ayew, may his soul rest in perfect peace. He was the one that purchased my flight for me after everything was done, after I got my visa. So he actually helped me with my flight, and I was able to get to Oklahoma. Playing back in US or in college was the best experience for me as a player or as an international player, because there was different experience, cultural exchange, knowledge exchange that I got to have when I was playing in US. I had a lot of exposure playing in US because I was really promoting myself, because you had to do it as a player or as a great player. You need to know your whereabouts. So I was exposing myself through the great things that I was doing back in college, because that was the only chance I could be able to, you know, promote myself as a soccer player. Right, playing and schooling in northern Oklahoma or in US is one of the toughest experience that I actually experienced, because being here in Ghana, it's a different dialogue altogether. But then moving out of the country, playing and schooling was not an easy task, because everything seems like new to me. But then through the help of the school, the dean, most of the teachers, the instructors, our counselors, I was able to, you know, combine, because most of the times we have to go to games in different states, which happens to be like 6 hours away from where my school is, and you had to go with your laptop, your books. I mean, before I was not getting the whole concept, because when we are going for a game, I could see most of my players having cards that they have written their maybe assignments or tests, and they'll be reading through. Some have their laptop, they are learning. I was like, okay, so how am I gonna get, you know, used to this? But then through, you know, learning and getting closer to some of the players, I was able to adapt the system that, yes, this is what you are here for, and you need to learn and you need to adapt. So it wasn't really easy, but then through the help of some colleagues and teammates, I was able to get through, and here I am today. I wish as of now I am still playing. That is one of the greatest wish that I always pray, that I wish I was still playing as a footballer, because it was one of the greatest things that I've actually been in my life. I wanted to be more than how I am right now. I wanted to be more great. I wanted to be seen more. I wanted to impact more as a footballer. But then, you know, we plan and God decide, and it's been pretty much not an easy decision. But then, what can you do? So playing and schooling has also had a very great impact as an international student athlete, and it hasn't been easy, but what can you do? So actually, when I moved out of the country in 2015 to play in college in US, my first season and my second season was the time that I wished everybody got to know who Gifty Ayew was, because when I was playing here in Ghana, I didn't really get the recognition, because a lot of people didn't really know who I was until when I moved out of the country in 2015. And I did great in my first season, which happens to scoring 21 goals in 23 goals in 21 games, and also my second season I scored 27 goals in 19 games. So it happens to give me a great exposure back then when I moved, and a lot of people got to know me. Everybody was like, who is this Gifty Ayew? Who is this Gifty Ayew? So I started, you know, managing my sports life in accordingly when I realized that a lot of people are getting to know who I was, and I felt very proud of that, because I worked hard to get there. And so the decision that I would want to change or make as a female player, if I happen to play right now, is to be able to inspire the other clubs or the local clubs that we have here. Most of the team management is very poor. They don't really have the guidance that will help the female players here to, you know, to improve on their own, you know, self-esteem, because most of the clubs here lack the fact that they are not able to teach their players that, oh, this is what you need to do.